All right, I think we're live.
Are we?
Yeah, looks like it's live. Recording right there. Well, welcome to the first episode of The Roast, brought to you by Coronavirus Quarantine. That's why we're sitting outside. We're keeping our 6-inch social distancing.
I think it's supposed to be 6 feet, not 6 inches.
Yeah, maybe so. But nonetheless, here we are. We're outside. It's a good day. There's bugs flying around. There was a hawk out here trying to kill a robin.
Oh man, weed eating up the street.
Yeah, it was pretty much perfect background music for this, I think. Yeah, I mean you can't make it up. You know, we would have liked to have done this inside. The CDC says can't do it. Don't know how they'd enforce it, but you know we're going to try to follow the guidelines and be team players. You know, slow the spread. Yeah, so this is the first one. This is brought to you guys by Cafa Cold Brew Coffee. That's something me and Daniel are working on, and I guess I'll kind of explain what this is all about and kind of what the mission is before we get started. So for a long time, my wife and I have been failed entrepreneurs. Pretty much, just starting. I mean, you know the story. We've been starting several little businesses, several different ideas that pretty much all took dirt naps as soon as they launched. And then recently, well, as far back as October, we started to launch a coffee shop where we placed it. Is corporately owned. Essentially, it took a long time to actually get them to approve it over a bunch of board meetings, that kind of thing. And then we finally got it in January. We bought all of the stuff that we needed to do it, paid all our bills in advance. And then opening day was the first stay-at-home order in Virginia. So a pretty crappy way to start.
I didn't realize that was y'all's first day.
Yeah, first day. I mean, you can't dream up a better first day, you know. They stopped visitors. We're actually, our first location's in a hospital. And we knew that it was kind of coming. They were screening us. We actually went to, do you remember that guy when we were getting screened?
Oh yeah, how could you forget him? The easiest way to get out of a couple questions about the coronavirus is to fake a heart attack.
Yeah, and it worked. I mean, they probably still screened him, but they didn't screen him there. We were standing there, and pretty much we were just answering questions. We were carrying an espresso machine into the coffee shop, and the lady's asking us, do you have any respiratory illness? Have you had a fever? Have you been in China? No, no, no. And this dude comes in, and he's our age. I mean, he had to be like mid to late 20s. Just comes walking in, walks right past the little registration desk. And the lady says, sir, excuse me, you need to be screened. And he goes, actually, I think I'm having a heart attack.
I mean, it took everything in me not to laugh at that.
Oh, dude, I did laugh.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you can hear we've got gale force winds. Actually, I need to close this door before it gets blown off the hinges. We picked our location really wisely, crested at the top of a mountain with nothing blocking the wind. So essentially, we got the coffee shop opened up. They cut visitors out, and then they cut staff in half, and it put myself and my wife Anna in kind of a position where we kind of had to think outside of the box. And I'm a big cold brew fan, and basically just started kind of looking at how to make it, started making some, got a recipe down pretty good for our first, flagship product, and then started talking to Daniel about what we could do to launch the thing.
Yeah, I will say I've never been a fan of cold brew at all. Iced coffee, nothing. I drink it here and there, not too often, but that sample that I had the other night, I enjoyed that, especially on a warm day like today, that'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I mean, today, for example, I made it. I'm like a pot of coffee a day drinker, at least, if not more. I mean, at home, I'll drink a pot, and then we'll get to work or whatever we're doing, and I'll probably get another couple cups. If not another pot sometimes if we're working all night.
Yeah.
But when it's hot, I can't do it. And I discovered cold brew. I don't know if it was last summer or the summer before, and I'm sure it's been around longer than that. But
Oh yeah, sure.
the first one I bought was Starbucks' Nitro Cold Brew. And I was like, damn, I like that because, it's not watered down, and it's really, I mean, it just tastes, it's almost like an espresso coffee. I mean, it's like really rich tasting, and it's kind of because of how it's made,
Mm-hmm.
But so, as we're thinking about quarantine and this whole thing that's been going on, I consume a lot of content to try to see what I can gain from other people, not to copy anybody, but just to kind of learn what works and all sorts of business aspects. And one thing that's really popping off now is someone that has one or multiple businesses, and then they have a whole slew of media that some of it's directly attached to the business and some of it is loosely attached. It's really more like attached to their name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been a lot of those videos we've been watching kind of give you a new insight on things. I never in a million years ever thought about doing anything like this, starting something and then but recently I mean, you've kind of got me into it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, once you kind of see what's being done by other companies, it's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
you can kind of do it without doing anything. I mean, you're basically documenting the process. Like this conversation would happen, maybe not exactly like this, but why not document it, have an audio and a video feed about it, and use it to further the business. So that's what I was kind of thinking was, I can't attach everything just to the cafe. That's like a tough thing to tie together. But what I can do is have the cafe have products, and with some of those products have media attached to those products. And Cafa Cold Brew was kind of my, I don't know, you could say brainchild at one moment. And I literally figured out the name by putting a bunch of words in a rap name generator. For all you people that think that your name should mean something, it doesn't. It just needs to sound good.
Sound good and look good.
Sound good and look good on the bottle, and you'll buy it. So that's what Cafa's going to be. Me and you, we just joke around all the time, literally 24/7. We're just talking shit and laughing, and that's kind of what I see for Cafa Cold Brew.
Yeah, for sure.
So, with all that being said, if we don't get attacked by a bird, we got an audience now. Yeah, with all that being said, let's just chat, man. I mean, I know one thing about this quarantine that sucks is there's no sports.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big West Virginia fan, basketball, football. I was ready to watch the Big 12 tournament maybe a month ago. It got canceled.
Yeah.
I said, well, we still got March Madness. About 2 hours later, they canceled that, and I said, baseball. That's all I look forward to, anyways. Next day, canceled. I said, I have nothing to live for now.
Nothing. And what's funny is, actually because of all this, I'm thinking about getting into more ball sports because I really don't pay any attention to it, and I used to take pride in that. And now that there's been such a gap, I'm like, I don't know. It's a good time for me to get into it. But I'm a big fight fan. I watch mostly UFC and boxing, some Bellator, and not that those guys don't matter, but I'm a big UFC fan. And Dana White was going on basically a rant saying they weren't going to stop any of the fights. There's a dog, too. That's a great cherry on top for the situation. He wasn't going to stop any fights. Tony Ferguson-Khabib was about to happen. This is the 5th time it was scheduled. Within 2 days, that fight was canceled. And they're supposedly working on it. And, I mean, I was talking shit. I said, you know what? Football's canceled, basketball's canceled, baseball's canceled. Guess what? Dudes are still fighting. They just need an empty arena and a camera. Wrong.
Yeah,
It's fucking wrong.
don't watch I never watched UFC or anything, and I recently started watching it maybe two probably about 2 months ago, I guess. And man, I was so excited to watch that fight, Tony and Khabib. I've watched probably 4 or 5 of Tony's fights. The only fight I've watched of Khabib was against Conor, so I'd like to watch a couple more of his stuff.
And I mean, honestly, a lot of Khabib's fights are pretty much, he takes you down in the ground, he controls you for 25 minutes, he beats your brains out against the canvas, and then he probably chokes you out.
Yeah.
And so, nothing against Khabib, cross sniffer, as Conor would say, right? I'm a Conor deadbeat, right? I'm a degenerate Conor McGregor fan. There's no doubt about it, and I'm happy to admit it.
Yeah, I've most definitely hopped on the Conor bandwagon, watched all his fights, love watching him fight.
And pure fight fans are going to be like, I can't believe they just said that. The facts are facts, man. You got a guy that has won 3 world titles in the UFC, an interim featherweight champion, the featherweight championship, and the lightweight championship. He has knockouts in all 3 divisions, and he's a 2-time Cage Warriors champion. So, in 2 divisions. So, literally 2 divisions in 2 different organizations with knockouts in 3 weight classes in the UFC. I mean, it's hard to deny that.
Yeah, so. And then he steps out of the octagon, the box Floyd Mayweather, and goes, 9, 10 rounds?
10 rounds. And
won the first couple rounds.
They really, I think they only gave him a round or 2. But anybody that watches those fights knows that at least until the 6th round, 5th or 6th round, Conor was outstriking him, bar none. And of course, that game plan is, we were going to wear him out. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just, you want to see some of these things, Like, if you could get WVU to play the Patriots, you'd probably watch it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd probably watch it, but won't be much of a game, I don't think.
You don't think?
Probably not.
But it would be interesting. People would watch it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry again. The wind is just vicious out here. I mean, it's like a giant whoopee cushion out there. You can't see, but we got this scarecrow stuck in the garden here, and he had a hat on, and the wind was so bad the other night it sucked the hat off his head, sucked this door wide open, and broke the freaking the thing, the metal thing that holds it together. Yeah. One thing that's got me interested in wanting to see more sports is Barstool. Everyone knows what Barstool is, It's kind of like who's Fuck Jerry on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, people know certain pages, people know certain things, and Barstool's kind of always been there, and I would see them on Explore, and it'd be a dumb video, and I'd just move past it. And then I watched a video of Dave Portnoy when they sold a portion of their company to Penn National Gaming for $450 million, or were evaluated $450 million, whatever it is. And then I started watching that, and why would I be too cool to watch sports? I don't think that makes me cool. And right now is a good time for me to get into it because it's going to come back, and it's going to come back hard. And this is kind of like a reset button, I feel like. I couldn't catch up on all the sports before this. I'd just start fresh. Here's what I know. Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers. That's all I need to know, right?
Yeah, that's all you hear about anyways. Yeah, one thing I liked about Barstool Sports, I've watched a handful of their videos, I guess. I really like watching our boy Pat McAfee retire on Barstool Sports, one of the greatest punters of all time. Shout out to Pat McAfee. Maybe one day our show will be like yours. But it's funny. They got a lot of good stuff on
there. We're coming, Pat. I broke your train of thought. Continue.
Yeah, I lost it now.
Yeah, gone with the wind, apparently.
Yeah.
Sorry. Felt like I needed to say that to Pat because we're coming for you.
Oh, man.
We're supposed to be on quarantine, right? I think we're going against the grain, sitting outside, recording a podcast. This dude's cutting marble with a fucking... I gotta stop saying that word so much. With the fucking... No. I'm gonna try to bleep that out. Nah, I'm not. Actually, who cares? We'll use it lightly. So I don't want to deter an audience from this because we can be funny without dropping fuck bombs 24/7.
Yeah.
Anyway, this dude's out here cutting marble like he's building some kind of castle or something. It's perfect for this.
Nice day to cut marble.
Huh?
Nice day to cut marble.
Nice day to cut marble. You know what? Check the wind. We're gonna cut some marble tonight.
Oh man.
It's just a weird time, man. I'm super into entrepreneurship, right? That's one of the big things that I'm interested in. Like, I watch people like Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone, and you're not as familiar with those guys as me, but I love the idea of starting something from nothing, and it's tough out there for a dude right now.
Yeah, especially I know with your coffee shop, with everything being closed down, it's just a kind of a bad time right now.
Yeah, it really is a bad time. Not just because of the flow of people, but the restrictions on actually purchasing the stuff you need. Like, actually, thank God it's slow, because I couldn't, like, if 30 people wanted to buy a sandwich at the coffee shop every day, or 50 people, I can't even buy enough bread.
No.
They won't even let me buy enough bread. This dude is cutting a lot of marble. You know what? He better be building something good.
Maybe he'll build something for us.
He should build us a room to do this in.
UFC 249, is it happening?
I think it's happening. I think it's happening.
Yeah, I seen they said not to count out the Khabib Tony fight, but it's not happening. I don't think that's happening.
Here's what I know. Russia allowed Khabib to fly to the U.S. on a private jet, and he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. He's scared of El Kakui, Tony Ferguson. Yeah. He's scared. I truly believe he's scared, because why does it always fail? I mean, yeah, I think Connor said it best. I think they're playing a game of chicken, and I think Tony's winning 2-3. Yeah. Right? 2-3. Tony backed out one time for whatever reason. Then he tore his ligaments in his leg. Just wait a second. Fucking man, it's really cooking right now. Woo! It's windy.
At least it's cooling it off, though. I mean, I walked outside about an hour ago and just started sweating as soon as I walked outside. So it's time to break out the shorts.
Yeah, it is. It is windy. Anyway, back to the weather. I think Khabib's scared of Tony. I think he's going to have a crisp loss. It's going to be about 62 degrees in the octagon. That's how I feel out here right now in this. Talk about adversity. We're sitting out here, the sun's glaring in our face. I don't know how you're doing it. Yeah. You don't even have sunglasses on. This dude's cutting marble. We got hawks out here killing robins. Dog in this house barking next door. Wind is whipping. But we're out here, man. We're here for you. Cafa Cold Brew. We're here for you. It's coming soon. They probably can't even hear that. They just hear. Yeah, I'm just going to talk through the wind. I don't really care. I think that Khabib is actually afraid that he could lose his dynasty. And I think he makes it apparent by not taking the flight when he can. I think he also makes it apparent that he is trying to give himself the confidence, because then he tweets out that Tony, I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter, that as long as Khabib's a champion, Tony will always be the interim champion and Conor will always be the number 2.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I truly think. I wish I could tell you that I think when Conor and Khabib rematch, if that happens, that Conor just knocks him out right away. I think it's absolutely possible. It's happened to countless champions, of guys that are way up there. Jose Aldo got slept. I mean, Cowboy Cerrone was never a champion. Cowboy Cerrone was finished in the first round. Dustin Poirier, who I think is number 3 or 4, I believe number 4, was slept in the first round by Conor viciously. Conor went the distance with Max Holloway, who was the featherweight champion for a long time. Justin Gaethje now wants a piece of Conor McGregor. Justin Gaethje can't even beat Dustin Poirier and gets knocked out by Dustin Poirier. Meanwhile, Conor McGregor's bouncing Dustin Poirier's head off the floor within a minute. So I just don't see how it plays out. And I do think that Tony can beat Khabib, but I just don't see Tony beating Conor. Tony gets hit way too much. Conor comes in with the unless Tony gets a Darce choke or some sort of submission right out of the gate, I just don't see it.
No,
he's a sniper.
Yeah, I don't see it either. One thing I do like about Tony, though, is, man, he takes shot after shot and stays in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no one hits.
Like Conor. That's true, for sure.
Nobody.
Yeah, but that Tony Khabib fight, now that would be interesting to watch.
I think Tony beats Khabib, Conor beats Tony, and that's your new champion.
Yeah.
I think that's the path to gold for Conor. But Conor doesn't need gold. What he said, I quote, "They think I'm toast, but I'm still the bread," because he's making $80 million per fight currently in the UFC, supposedly, with all of his, they're a sponsor and they're all this stuff. It's not just his paycheck. Again, back to the entrepreneur thing. That's what Conor's been able to do. He's been able to sell whiskey, have a YouTube channel called The Mac Life. He has several Instagram accounts called like The Mac Lifestyle, where they post the clothes he wears and they show you how much it costs.
Yeah.
They'll post a picture of Conor walking around in a t-shirt and jeans, and then post a picture when you swipe right of the t-shirt, and it's like $895, and then you swipe right again and you see the pants and they're like $2,000, and then the shoes $4,500.
And you see his watch.
And then you see his watch, and it's like, he wore a watch in the Cowboy press conference. That was like $750,000. Now, don't quote me on that. He's wearing some shit.
Yeah. That was really the fight that got me in the UFC was Conor and Cowboy.
Conor Cowboy was such a blessing as a Conor fan. I've been waiting so long. Like, I waited so long for Conor to come back because he went on a tear. And he lost to Nate Diaz after whipping Nate Diaz's ass. Then loses. Comes back, fights a hard fight, and gets the victory after a decision. And then he goes and he fights Eddie Alvarez for the lightweight title, who was supposed to just run through Conor McGregor. He didn't land a punch. Conor McGregor picks him apart, hands behind his back. And then he disappears. And he goes and fights Mayweather and makes a bunch of money. Comes back and loses to Khabib. And then takes another 18 months off before he fights again. It's like, as a Conor fan, you just want him to fight. And I don't mean, we're not going to run down a 30-minute spill on Conor McGregor, but I feel strongly about it.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel as strongly about Conor McGregor being the lightweight champion as I am confident that the Buccaneers will go to the Super Bowl pretty soon.
Yeah, it's coming for sure.
It's coming. Have they even won a Super Bowl ever?
If they have, I don't know about it. It's been
I
a
didn't
long
even know
time.
the Buccaneers were a fucking team. Didn't even know.
Oh, they play basketball?
Yeah, what are they, a bowling team? Darts?
Everybody knows them now, though.
Everybody knows them now. And they got a pretty sweet... am I a total douchebag if I go Buccaneers bandwagon right away?
Yeah, Buccaneers.
But I'm starting
t-shirt
fresh.
on
I'm starting fresh.
Yeah.
I always claim to fame that I'm a cheesehead, right? That I like Green Bay. I'm so much of a cheesehead that I didn't know the term cheesehead until 3 months ago. I've been saying I like Green Bay for 8 years. That's how much I don't watch football. I watch the Super Bowl, sort of. We drink and we eat wings, and I don't really watch it. And then I go, yeah. I literally look at what team I think is going to win and just say that team's going to win. And actually, I'm a pretty good guesser. I'll give you an example. I don't remember who Virginia Tech was playing. They were playing somebody that should have crushed Virginia Tech. This is a couple years ago. So I had this old Virginia Tech shirt that didn't even fit. It was from when I was 14. Because I used to wear them to school on West Virginia Day. I grew up in West Virginia. So you were supposed to wear your WVU gear. I'd wear a Virginia Tech shirt just to piss people off. So I had this old Virginia Tech shirt, and he's like, yeah, Virginia Tech's playing. So I put the Virginia Tech shirt on. And I'm like, they're going to win, and they're going to win by 8 points. points or something dumb. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I said they're going to win and they're going to win by this much. And it was literally halfway through the second, and they were down like 30-some points. My buddy's like, yeah, right, dude, whatever. So we start drinking, and we're sitting there, and it goes into the third quarter, and sure enough, they're still down like 37 points or 38 points. Like it's really looking bad. Maybe they weren't down that much. Maybe they had scored a TD by then. But I shouldn't say TD. That sounds like I don't watch sports big time, right? They scored a touchdown by then at least, maybe. But they were still down like dramatically. And in the fourth quarter, they just came back in a rampage, and they won by what I said they'd win by. And they were pissed. And I didn't make any bets. So I'm thinking that I'm going to just go full degenerate gambler.
Yeah, I'm thinking I need to go to Vegas with you then.
Yeah. I mean, you know what sucks is when you like don't call what you actually think. Connor Cowboy. Let me go to this. I knew in my brain or in my heart, it wasn't even my brain. What my heart said was Connor's going to run through him probably in 30, 40 seconds. 30, 40 seconds is what I was thinking. Tops. But I didn't want to seem like that guy. Oh, Connor, he's going to run through in 30, 40 seconds. He's been off for 18 months. He's going to just come through and kill this veteran. You know, I wanted to act like, I'm like, nah, he'll probably win by TKO in like the second. Even though in the back of my head, I'm like, nah, man, he's going to just murder him. So I didn't bet. Because last time I bet on a fight, I lost like $500 to my wife. So I didn't really lose it, right? She's that's who you should take to Vegas. She's like, Khabib's going to choke Conor McGregor out in the fourth round. And then, like, sure enough, choked out. Anyways, what I thought would happen happened. And actually, what's funny is when I bet her that Conor would win against Khabib, I felt like Conor was going to lose that fight back then.
Yeah.
I really did at that time. So, but I'm not a good gambler, and I think that might be something that I should just still continue to do is gamble.
Yeah, I never got into gambling. Just can't get into it. I bought a scratch-off ticket the other day, won $5, and that's about as far as it goes for me.
Yeah. No, I don't buy lottery tickets or nothing.
No, that's the first time I ever had.
I won $50 on a lottery ticket one time. Went in, bought beer, bought a bunch more lottery tickets, won like another $50, and then won nothing. And then I was like, nah, I'm gonna play again because I've been kind of on a roll. And then I ended up like pretty much breaking even. The only thing I had to show for it was some scratched lottery tickets and a 12-pack of Bud Light. That was it. Yeah. Man, we've gotten far off track from cold brew coffee.
Yeah.
But this is the point. This isn't about that. That's who we are. But I mean, we have other interests, you know. And, you know, it is what it is.
And all these gnats are making it hard not to touch my face, and they're not supposed to be touching our faces anymore.
I just rubbed my face, as you said. You're like, I shouldn't be touching my face. I'm over here like this. Like, biting my nails. No, I didn't do that. I'm not sick. So, let me ask you this. If I'm getting into baseball or football right now, what should I be looking for when it comes back? I like the Braves. Is Atlanta
Yeah.
going to be someone to look for? Is it hard to make a guess right now on how teams are going to be after all this?
Yeah, it's kind of hard right now. Atlanta had a good season last year, kind of blew it in the playoffs. I'm a big Cincinnati Reds fan. That's really who I keep up with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the only team I follow. Baseball is so hard to watch on TV. It's kind of boring.
It is.
Unless you're watching that one team you really like.
Yeah.
But I can't. I mean, that's really the only team I watch. I don't know a lot of baseball outside of the Reds, to be honest. They haven't had a winning season since 2011.
You're kind of like a Jets fan, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, they do better than the Jets, right? Like when the Jets.
Probably not. No.
I say that because we were talking about Gary Vaynerchuk earlier, and he's like, his goal in life is to buy the Jets, and he's like a diehard Jets fan, and they just lose, and he gets pissed when they win because he's so used to them losing. It's kind of awesome, you know. Well, I'm glad the wind died down. The marble cutter quit.
The hawk's gone away.
The hawk went away.
Oh, I think I hear him back up
Oh,
again.
he's firing it up. Is he firing it up?
Sounded like it.
Yeah. I don't know if they can hear that. I've got a 4-month-old baby that's crying in the distance. So, things to stay tuned for, guys. We've got a website that's currently being launched. This podcast we're going to do once a week. If we can't do it in person like this, we're going to try to do it over video. Just talk about everything. We probably won't go on a Conor McGregor tangent like we did today, but you never know. You just never know. We're going to be doing this. We're going to have the YouTube channel. You need to stay up to date on Instagram and Facebook if you're an old woman, and the whole gamut of everything. By the end of the month, we should have a bottled product that should be just about ready to ship out. We're talking about doing a whole bunch of different things, but really, we just kind of want to keep people in the loop. I mean, a lot of people are stuck inside right now. There's not a lot to do. A lot of people live in places where they can't even do what we're doing right now. You know, if you live in New York, it's really hard to sit outside and grill, which we're about to do.
Speaking of that, I think I left those hot dogs out sitting over there.
That's okay. We'll cook them.
That's fine.
Cook them. What's the worst that can happen? We create a global pandemic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not making bat soup. I might would eat it.
Maybe. Not too much I wanted to eat.
Bat wings, I would definitely eat. Little buffalo, little Franks on that. I'd do it.
Yeah.
That's I wouldn't do that. There's going to be a bunch of people that are just pissed that I said that. Yeah, so I mean, stay tuned. We're going to be coming every single week with this. We're also going to have a docu-series that's going to kind of follow what we go through as this thing scales and grows. We just want to be as transparent as possible, not to give people any fake idea of what we're into or what we're doing. 'Cause I don't think that's fair. I think a lot of people want to start something and they see a bunch of bullshit. You know, what have you ever seen that was like really transparent about starting a business? Or I mean, nothing. It's all like
It's transparent, man.
like you can see through it. You can see inside of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's gonna be like I think that should be the thumbnail. What does transparent mean? I think that would be good. Either that or guy cuts marble for 20 minutes straight in the middle of the podcast.
And then he quits at the end. At least
he quit at the end. Now the wind's picking up. Yeah. Well, make sure to tune in next week. I'm not sure what day this will be uploaded, but definitely tune in. Like I said, we're going to be doing this however we can. Lockdown or no lockdown, we're coming to you. Not live. Maybe that's something in the future. And we appreciate everybody for listening. Again, this is The Roast. I don't think I said that enough. The name of this podcast is The Roast. You know, a little bit for the coffee. And then, actually, you know what I think would be a great way to end a podcast? Is we just like roast each other a couple times.
Oh, man, you started off then.
I started off? No, you have to start it off. Because I brought up the idea. It makes me look like an asshole.
Man, I'm not good under pressure. I got nothing.
Oh, what? This I look like a. I don't know. Roast me. I'll start. Who the hell doesn't know what transparent means? All right.
Who wears sunglasses and a button up like that?
A lot of cool guys.
Yeah, true. Told you I'm not good.
Who spits in a can and makes it loud enough for everyone to hear on a podcast? This is a horrible roast.
This is terrible, yeah. Probably one of those things I'm gonna watch and cringe.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. We gotta have like one good roast though. Gotta think.
One good roast.
You look like a homeless veteran Luigi from Mario Brothers.
Well, I believe that's a good way to end it.
No, you gotta get me better though. You can't like just say, "Oh, that's good. See you guys later." You gotta do it.
I got nothing, man.
Oh
Got
man,
nothing.
no, that makes me look like an asshole. You have
Well.
to give. What do I? Come on, something.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. You got nothing. I've got a beer belly. I've got yellow teeth.
Yeah, I got both of those also.
We'll work on the roasts. We'll work on the roast. But I think that should be a tradition, at least at some point, where we're like, you know what, you stupid son of a bitch. Just go in on each other. Maybe not. Maybe people don't want to hear that. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to our marble cutting, high speed wind, hawk fighting, dog barking, baby crying podcast, courtesy of the coronavirus. Got to keep your 6-inch social distancing. 6 feet. There's a place in town that's 6 feet apart or 6 feet under. I said amen. Amen.
I'll go 6 feet under.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.